Hey, what's going on, guys? Gamerdude back once again with another episode in our Just the Facts series. Today we are discussing Death Stranding and everything we know about this unusual game thus far. See, there aren't really that many topics for me to cover at the moment, seeing how E3 has beaten me to the punchline with most of it. Having them showing most of the reveals there. What I've had to do is I've had to rush this one together last minute, so it's going to be a bit shorter than usual. But yeah, let's just move on, and here's everything I have found regarding Death Stranding. So the most recent Death Stranding trailer, released after a torturous Twitch stream, it was packed full of crazy details and reveals, but the biggest bit of news, the one we have all been waiting for, was the final release date. That's right, Death Stranding will be released for PlayStation 4 and PC on November the 8th, 2019. So much for my theory and speculation about it being a PS5 game. But yeah, I'll definitely be putting in a pre-order for this, I can tell you that. So there's lots more details on Death Stranding from the trailers they've provided. And alongside that, all of course, is that all-important launch date, which I've just told you. But we also got to see new characters, including American actress and Leftovers star Margaret Qualley as Mama. Bit of a weird character name, but whatever. We've got Drive director Nicholas Winding Refn as Hartman, and How to Get Away with Murder's Tommy Earl Jenkins as Die Hardman. And obviously we saw more of Norman Reedus, who is the main protagonist of the game. We also got a strong look at some more gameplay, with gadgets ranging from guns and a sweet looking motorbike. No doubt, given Norman Reedus' love for motorbikes, that was totally his idea. But I can only imagine the cheesy grin on his face sitting in the mocap room on a custom built bike. And he actually took that bike home with him. So that's how much he loves bikes. I mean, if you haven't already, I do recommend you check out Ride with Norman Reedus on the AMC network. It's a fantastic show. I love motorbikes. But naturally, the big question, of course, is what it all means. And while no one this side of Hideo Kojima knows for certain until we see an official retail launch trailer for the game, no one really knows what the baseline of it's really about. So buckle up, guys, because the next few months are going to be rather rocky. There's now over 9 minutes of gameplay footage out there on the internet, and it's of course, people are rewatching it and rewatching it all over again, breaking them down, looking for anything that might give us an idea what to expect when this game finally releases, other than carrying around a creepy fetus on your chest, that is. But unfortunately, I can't actually show any footage from the trailer because every developer at E3 this year have denied me the opportunity to use their trailers this year. Unlike last year, when they seemed more than willing to allow me to do so. Even though last year I had something like 200 subscribers, as opposed to my nearly 1k now. So, WTF to that, but anyway. But I decided to break down the trailer a little bit myself. I even went back to the first time it was revealed, all the way back in 2016. And it starts with a bloodied Mikkelsen reassuring and sort of cocooning a baby, like that fetus on the chest thing, before we see a photo of the game's hero, Sam Bridges' family. Then next, it cuts to Sam, Norman Reedus, on a motorbike, of course, in a lush mountainous region surrounded by crows, with an incredible backdrop and an absolutely beautiful scenic view. One can only hope this game incorporates a photo mode. I'm just throwing that in there. Next there's Lindsay Wagner as a clearly ill president, with Sam uttering, "America is finished." So the game itself is extremely weird. However, it only gets weirder from there. The Death Stranding trailer suggests that Sam's role as a courier will include using gadgets like ladders and climbing anchors to explore the world, and have to avoid enemies chasing him with big electrified spears. Yeah, you heard that right. If you haven't seen the trailer already, they have electrified spears, so WTF to that as well. But before he goes old school and punches the crap out of them, so it would appear from that there's some kind of building system in the game. Perhaps at some point you will have to build your own base, or maybe a crude camp of some kind. But from what I saw with the building system, it would seem plausible. Although it would be a shame if all you could build with this was just ladders and climbing gear. But yeah, the gadgets were rather interesting. They gave off kind of a Days Gone vibe, like that custom-made thing. And each of them, from what we saw, had interesting properties. It even looked like there was like a little weapon wheel, like Grand Theft Auto and Days Gone. So it looks like a lot of games are going with that as well now. But moving on to something a little bit more unusual. Unusually, the prospect of time travel was explored, with what seemed to be kind of a World War I section, albeit with more black goo. Because we've seen in the trailers, we've seen a lot of black goo in the trailers, and it's like, what is this goo? Is it mud? Is it kind of like alien shit? I don't know. But with visions of both old and young versions of Lindsay Wagner's character. So I'm guessing this is like an alternate timeline, in which the First World War was either lost, or these aliens, or whatever those things are, that pop out of the ground. We're gonna name those things actually. How about hand mines? Yeah. Let's go with that. Let's call them hand mines. Anyway. If this is the case, history would have been drastically altered, which leads us to this alternate dystopian future where everything's destroyed. There's no cities, there's no cars, there's no vehicles of any kind, well, except motorbikes, but you know, I've always said motorbikes don't belong in games. But so far we haven't seen any major cities, as I just said, or major landmarks, so it stands to reason that everything has been utterly destroyed. But Hideo Kojima accompanied the release of the trailer with this message for his fans, and this is a direct quote. "People have created walls and become accustomed to living in isolation. Death Stranding is a completely new type of action game where the goal of the player is to reconnect isolated cities and a fragmented society. It is created so that all elements, including the story and gameplay, are bound together by the theme of the strand, or connection. As Sam Porter bridges, you will attempt to bridge the divides in society, and in doing, create new bonds or strands with other players around the globe. Through your experience playing the game, I hope you'll come to understand the true importance of forging connections with others." An interesting quote, to say the least. What this tells us is that it's a game about rebuilding humanity and society on a massive scale. Not just that, it allows you to connect with other players around the world. Well, I think Hideo Kojima was kind of saying it unisolates people. It gets people together, working together. But yeah, guessing from the whole humanity and rebuilding and whatnot, that's why you've probably got a fetus attached to your chest, because babies are the most important thing in this game. Hideo Kojima also revealed some new character details in a panel at the Tokyo Game Show last year, including Metal Gear Solid series Salwart Troy Baker and the mysterious man in the golden mask. He dropped a quote, actually. He says, "Well, shit. I had a special surprise prepped and everything. Baker's masked character taunts protagonist Sam Bridges, but it looks to me like your hands are full. No biggie. We can always tweak the rules a bit. Baker's character then conjures a giant masked lion, cougar beast from the oily floor, in what we can presume is a boss battle. But I gotta say, like, magical spells now, summoning creatures, what kind of game is this going to be? A mythical creature, like magical based game similar to that of Conan Exiles, or a world-ending alien invasion? Even from all the short clips that we have seen over the years, they contain enough clues to speculate about in a mini panel. But the key details are that Baker's baby sort of glows red when he uses his mask to control the oily hands and bodies into the monster, and the reference to the rules feels unusually interactive. Since there's a crazy theory that Death Stranding, potential spoiler alert by the way, takes place in the form of a video game. I mean, obviously it's a video game, but just bear with me. But it tells us that the game's characters will be somewhat or mostly aware of their existence in the system. Sure, it sounds kind of absurd, but the clues are there, and it's not such an out there theory. I mean, think about Deadpool. Deadpool knows he's a comic book character, he knows he's a game character, he knows he's a movie character, etc, etc. So, if you care to listen on and bear with me, I'll share what I've discovered regarding this theory, and tell you it's not so out there. So, Hideo Kojima appeared with his good friend Norman Reedus, Daryl from The Walking Dead and star of the Death Stranding game obviously, at the Tribeca Film Festival in New York of April this year. Kojima confirmed Death Stranding was an open world action game, but suggested the key focus was about connection, both to other players and to reconnect the world in the game. This might allude to Death Stranding stars Mr. Mikkelson's, or whatever his name is in the game, hint that the game was about global player collaboration with a real-world social media element. Kind of like Star Trek Online, with a massive in-game chat system that might as well just be a Facebook news feed. I mean, you've got to play Star Trek Online to know what I'm talking about with that. But before he could say anything more, it led to Mikkelsen being censored and cut off by Kojima himself. Kojima basically put his hand over his mouth and pushed him aside, do not say anything else, basically. But Death Stranding will feature a secret area in which you control a camera. Not the central character, Kojima added. It'll be where you're able to interact with Norman Reedus, as in the actor himself, from the real world, and not his game character. Which is a massive fourth wall break in terms of gaming, because it is rare where characters in games know they're in a game, unless it's Deadpool. It is unusual for them to do this. So this all sort of prompts that theory that Death Stranding is a kind of digital simulation, like a parallel universe, with defined rules and players. Theories range from a vision of death and purgatory to a VR simulation, or a breakdown of our world's scientific rules, where alternate realities can be explored and time as we know it ceases to exist. But exploring alternate realities isn't all out there. They've done it before. I mean, they've done it in The Flash with Cisco exploring parallel realities and different worlds and whatnot. But this being Kojima, it might not be as simple as we're in the Matrix, and there's subtle little hints of interdimensional beings who might have altered our reality as we know it, like those floating things that we glimpsed at the end of the debut trailer. But with plentiful hints to black holes, scientific theories such as the Dirac equation and the Schwarzschild radius, plus a throwback to the Kojima Productions launch website before Death Stranding was even announced, which included a mission segmentation about human evolution and the motto from sapiens to ludens, which might be more of a literal clue than we actually realised. So moving on, we cover the actual plot of Death Stranding, which involves Sam, Norman Reedus, who works for a corpse disposal team as part of Bridges and the United Cities of America. So it's not the United States of America, it's the United Cities of America. So just some kind of weird dystopian future version of America, I'm guessing. Sam and his crew are retrieving dead bodies in a, obviously, presumably near future, world where all animal life appears extinct and the environment is in ruin, if not absolutely beautiful from what we've seen. But yeah, things get super weirder from there when Reedus and his team are stalked by invisible foes who leave a trail of oily handprints. And as I said, yeah, let's call those hand mines. I mean, these things seem to detect people using sound, or possibly infrared vision. These enemies might be linked to the 5 spectral figures that Reedus glimpses at the end of the first Death Stranding trailer. But to see that, you've got to go all the way back and know what I'm talking about. If this sounds confusing, I mean, it's very confusing to me, but don't worry, because Kojima has admitted that his developing creative team, which is absolutely hilarious, by the way, they don't even understand it themselves. I just find that super hilarious. Like, you know, they design a game and have no clue what it's about. But Lindsay Wagner said Hideo Kojima took 3 hours to explain the game and sell her onto the role. But during E3 last year, an interview with Jeff Keighley said, if you're trying to piece together the games chronologically based on each trailer, after what Kojima said, he claimed that trailer 3 at E3 last year is the earliest and set after the game's prologue. So I don't even understand that quote, to be honest. I mean, I'm just reading off what I found, but let's just go with it. But all this might point to and explain why Reedus is still clothed and doesn't have that kind of C-section scar from the debut trailer. But with that C-section scar, it suggests that male humans can get pregnant and may no longer be able to. Get my words out today, Gamerdude. It may no longer be possible for humans to reproduce in normal terms, which is why you carry around a creepy dead fetus throughout the majority of the game, which it's just a wow moment. Is that it's like, did they have to use a creepy fetus? Couldn't they have used something else? Something less creepy, something less like, whoa, you know? But anyway, suffice to say, I found a shit ton of facts regarding Death Stranding. But if I was to cover it all, we would seriously be here until next week. Because there have been more information and leaks regarding this game than any other we had been anticipating over the years. This game had more leaks over the years than even Days Gone or Spider-Man had. So I think because it's their first big title, they are really wanting to hype it up in such a way that it gets people buying this game for years to come, even when the PS4 becomes a distant memory after next-gen consoles release. Oddly, I am looking forward to this strange and frankly bizarre game. I love dystopian, apocalyptic, world-ending games and movies. And from what I've seen from Death Stranding so far, it certainly provides the qualities of a world-ending scenario. You know, with a deadly threat to humanity. I think what I will enjoy most is the fantastic and incredible scenery of this game. From what I've seen, the backdrops and environments of this game have been designed in such a way that you could just stand in one spot for hours and just explore the photo mode. God willing, it actually has one, and just enjoy the amazing scenery. But anyway, yeah, that's it for this episode. Sorry it's a bit jumbled up and there's not much I could really talk about, because E3, I've literally covered everything I wanted to cover over the next couple of weeks. So I've got to find some new materials for these next few episodes. But that's it for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I've expanded your gaming knowledge and given you an inside look into this perfect and bizarre game. So stay tuned later today, because we will be continuing what is left of our Telltale game series with Back to the Future. And tomorrow we have The Walking Dead Season 3. We'll be starting that up. Again, I really don't like Season 3, so you'll hear a lot of constructive criticism from me on that. But yeah, don't miss it. If you're new to the channel, don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button and drop me a like. I always sub back to new subscribers and view any content you may be producing. Speaking of, shout out to all subscribers, old and new. We're now at 910. We are getting ever so close to that 1k milestone, which is an absolutely amazing achievement, and I can't thank you all enough for the continuous support and views of my content. So yeah, till the next one, this has been Just the Facts with Gamerdude. Happy gaming, and I'll catch you all real soon, guys.